Well, good morning, North Texas. Welcome to the first 2025, the first edition, the first episode of NTX AM Vibes here on NTX Radio for 2025.
Yes.
That's where my brain was trying to go. I was trying to get that out. I'm Tiffany Carlin with Brianna Reeves Parkhill. Good morning, Bree.
Good morning.
Man, we haven't been here in a hot minute.
I know.
I think through holidays, sickness, and everything
Yeah.
else in between, we just have not been able to be in here live. So here we are.
Weather and
weather, and then juggling between show hosts, because we have show hosts that like our certain days, and people have gotten sick, and it's just been crazy.
Trying to figure out what our new schedule is going to be for 2025.
Yeah, we have not figured it out. But typically we are live Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Tuesdays are Talk About It Tuesday. We talk about everything under the sun. And I got it. Man, it's hot in here.
Yeah, it's warm.
I'm on fire.
I took my sweatshirt off already.
Good Lord. And I'm not wearing a jacket today. I mean, I don't need one, but the scarf even. Anyway. Came in, it was a little warm. It's set to 68 for our side of the building, and it was 65 in here. But this room needs to be turned off.
I'm sure I shut that damper, but I don't know.
It's hot.
It's warm.
It needs to be turned off, not turned on. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So happy 2025.
Yeah.
So we got to ring in the new year together. You were at our house.
Yes.
And that was a fun night.
It was very much fun. Enjoyed it.
It was good times. I did too. Okay, so like, I don't do resolutions. You don't either, right?
Mm-mm.
Right. So we don't even have to have that conversation, because I think it's just one of those things where
I'm not going to set the year up for me to fail the first thing that I commit to.
Yeah. I mean, do we really need to focus on one or two things?
Right.
I mean, we just need to, rock and roll with, what you did just the day before.
Mm-hmm.
That's the fun thing I like to hear people say. You mean, so today you don't want to be fat anymore, but yesterday was okay, or whatever. I just use as a thing, because that typically is like a resolution for a lot of people. I'm going to eat better. I'm going to work out. I'm going to stay in my routine, which is all great things. I mean, if the new year helps you set like a reset,
right,
to get back into it,
which most of us do need a reset anyway after holidays, whether you're a healthy eater and workout person or not.
Yeah, I didn't really eat bad. I mean, I just kind of don't anyway. So once it's a habit to eat good, you're just kind of eat good. So I mean, my idea of eating bad was the day after, or was it? Maybe it was New Year's Day. I think it was New Year's Day, and there was some frozen Trader Joe's hors d'oeuvres that we had not heaten up the night before, because I had all this other food out.
Yeah.
So I mean, hardly any of that got. I mean, it was eaten up, but it wasn't.
We grazed on it all night.
Yeah, it was good. So we air fried those up and ate little tiny hot dogs and stuff like that, to where you just kind of felt like, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've had some chocolate cravings here and there, but I eat my chocolate and then I'm done with it. It's not like sit down and eat a whole package of Oreos. It's, just
right. I eat 3 usually.
Yeah. Yeah. Now last night I
like the thins better than the regular
I like
Oreos.
the thins too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll say that. I'm good with them. Mm-hmm. I had a little craving in the grocery store last night. And
it's always bad when you have a craving or go hungry to the grocery store.
Yeah. Well, City Market here in Burleson kind of has that. They have that candy shelf that's like in the front, but it's all like chocolate covered peanuts, and there's yogurt pretzels, and
that's where like the cups and stuff are next to the pre-made or prefixed foods.
There's like homemade Whoppers, and I don't know who does all their candies and stuff for them, but there was another table that was in front of like the freezer section, and I was like, oh. And so I kind of just looked through and I went, oh, peanut clusters. I'm going to do that. So I did that. And then I was mad at myself when I got home, because I ate 3 on the way home. And I was like, that was
sugar
you're
high.
going to make yourself, I'm going to make myself sick. And I did, my stomach hurt so bad. I was like, why did you do that? I had all this great protein and I'm going to, cooked salmon and made a good meal to make up for it. But I was like, no, I can't eat. I literally cannot eat like that anymore. And that was just way too much, way too fast. Literally, from Old Town straight up
to home
or down Renfro, east on Renfro. And it's not that far.
No.
Was it 5-6 miles?
Maybe.
To my house. I think it's 5 miles to my house.
Maybe.
And I ate 3 freaking peanut chocolate clusters in 3 miles. And then I was just like, that was so stupid. You are so stupid.
I'm regretting it.
That was dumb. But, all right. So speaking of City Market, all the chat that's going on about City Market closing is super sad. It's sad. It is really sad.
Yeah.
First of all, when I was in there shopping, there's a bunch of things that are not being replenished already. And that's my go-to place on the way home.
Well, that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, my very first and only stealing experience.
Really?
Yes. I was 4-ish. I know it wasn't in grade school yet, but I think I was more than 3. And I'm pretty sure we lived in the house that Mama's in now. So I had to have been 4. So we get home from being at Bransom's, because that's what it was then. And I'm chewing gum and jumping on Mom's bed. Well, she asked me where I got my gum. Well, my face immediately turns red and my stomach goes all in knots. And I was like, Bransom's. And she was like, well, how'd you pay for it? And I was like, I put it in my pocket along with a little thing of Carmex. I had to go up to Bransom's and give it back to them and pay for the gum that I chewed. And it was very traumatic, and I've never stolen a thing again.
Okay, so my first and only time was at what it's called a Grand Union, and that was our grocery store in Midland Park, New Jersey. And I too stole a bag of gum. I don't think I was 4 though. I think I was more around the age of. I had to have been around 7 or 8 because my little sisters were with, so they were born.
Yeah,
and they were walking. So I think I was. I'm lying. I'm totally lying. I was older than that because if we were in Midland Park, we were living in Wyckoff, and that wasn't until. I don't know. Now I'm confused on the timing. Maybe I'm at the wrong grocery store. I might be at the wrong grocery store. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Stole a pack of like juicy fruit. It was like the 5 cents.
The red, the pink bubble. Just the one piece bubble. And I just took it and put it in my brown puffer coat and took it home.
Oh, I can't remember if I told on myself. I think I told on myself when we got in the car. And my dad made me go back and.
Oh, no. I was all the way home.
And pay for it.
It was bad.
No, I had a raging guilty conscience, and I could not. I just couldn't. I mean, I couldn't do. Like I had like that was like my kid.
Yeah.
Thing. I had a. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I hated to like hurt one of my siblings, if I if we got into a little hair tugging thing, I would just totally tell him myself. So yeah, that's changed. I'm just kidding. I don't do anything I have to tell him myself for. I don't think. I mean,
we're all just open books now. It doesn't matter.
Pretty much. I mean,
screwing up or not, somebody will tell us.
I mean, that's what happens when you're married for 22 years.
Yeah.
I have someone to tell me. He's right, over there. But yeah, so people pick a word for the new year, right? Like they'll pick a motivational word for themselves, or like my word for instead of a resolution, they'll do like a word of the year. And I've been thinking very deeply about what my word for this for 2025 would be. And I really can't think of any one particular thing because there's quite a few things that I need to focus on for this coming year. But what I decided to do was pick a word for 2024. Like what did 2024, what did that mean to me? What took place in 2024 that, really resonates with me. And my word is trust. My word for 2024 reflection, looking back, was trust, because I really had to put a lot of things in God's hands and let go.
Yeah.
Like really, really let go and just let him do his thing. And that is really, really difficult to do.
Yeah.
I mean, quite a few things that I've been through. That really required that. I mean, it really had to, and you really have to be able to truly, truly let go of certain scenarios and just let him hold the reins, or you will end up dead.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like you gotta just, really just let go. So I really trusted him and put, these situations in his hand and these people in his hands. And, just, I was thinking about this deeply last night. I mean, how much.
Should have warned me.
Sorry, man. No, I was really thinking deeply about it, just really trying to put it into perspective, some of what I went through in 2024 and how I was able to how I was able to handle it and survive some of the shit, you know? I mean,
and not just completely having a mental breakdown.
I'm thinking about I'll talk about a scenario, but I'm not gonna say I mean, it, deeply. It's just it's not my shit, so I don't wanna, talk about it. But I did have to buy a one-way ticket to Arkansas, just so I could get myself into DFW airport to help track someone down.
Yeah.
And that was, you would think that by the time, I probably lost 3 pounds walking with a backpack. And I mean speed walking and then hopping on a tram and going to one terminal versus another terminal and back and forth and then out to the parking lot and excuse me. And sweating. Because I was prepared to be sitting in the airport for like 8 hours and waiting with somebody. And so I was in like, leggings, and I think I had like this on, but my gray one, and a hat, and a backpack, and I was in an all out, drenched freaking.
Well, and stress added to.
Oh shit, yeah.
The sweat.
Yeah, and a shout out to the American Airlines. There was a particular flight attendant who was just so lovely, and I think I scared the shit out of her.
She had compassion for you.
Oh, big time.
Yeah.
It was a scenario, but whatever. The point was is that I came out of that, and you look back and you reflect on these moments and you go, I did not have a total freaking psychotic meltdown in that moment.
Yeah.
I learned a lot this year, and there's a specific group of people in South Padre who were very, very helpful in that really helped you like get through this thing to go, okay, reminder, not in your hands.
Yeah.
Like totally, you are not in control.
Yep.
Which is very difficult for me.
Yeah, me too.
Very difficult for type A, people for sure. So so I just kind of look back, and I look back at 2024, and that word is trust. And I really shifted into a position of that. And it was, maybe it was a little bit forced, but it was forced in a good way of going, God just going, seriously now.
Yeah.
I got this. Like, back off. and he doesn't mean it in a way of like, trying to take something from me. He was trying to give me back my sanity, I believe. Right? But but to ultimately tell you, I have this, and it's part of me having this is to protect you. So,
right.
So yeah. So if you had to pick a word to reflect on 2025, what would it be?
First thing that comes to mind is change, growth.
Okay.
Just because, so this time last year I was cleaning houses for income, and which, nothing wrong with it, but I came from a corporate world with a high salary, and 2024 was my year to really step out and start doing my own thing. I called my brother up and asked him for some advice, and he said, "Just work it." And so, it was, I'm not making the money that I was, but I'm working on it, and my business has grown and done that kind of thing. And it started out, I didn't know which way I was coming or going, and it was scary. And so, I think change and growth, because I've done a complete 180 on my world in the last year.
Can I give you a different word that, like, if I'm looking at you too?
Yeah.
This is a good thing too, because you could do this for me too. I never really thought about it that way, but I didn't think about it at first. But I'm thinking about it now. So when I look at you and I look at your past year, the word that immediately popped in my head is resilience.
Okay.
Because you didn't stop, right? Like, you didn't curl up and
I thought about it
lay in
several
bed
times.
and get depressed over it. You were like, okay, if I got to work 3 jobs, 4, I think at some point you
Yeah,
were working
when I was
4 different
when I was
jobs.
shoveling shit, that was fun.
Yeah, and when she says shoveling shit, she
Literally.
means it. She was out working in
Horse
someone's
shit.
horse
Uh-huh.
barn.
I loved
And
every minute of it.
but I mean, seriously, I mean, like, every part of that was a growth moment, but it was resilience that kept you going. Like, I'm not going to lose my house.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get any worse than it is now.
Mhm.
So the bills have to be paid. I have a child. I mean, all these things. So I look at you with admiration and see resilience in my friend and go, damn, girl. I mean, you busted your ass to stay up, right? And although we each had moments during this past year where, I mean, we really wanted to
Yeah.
curl up and
Yeah.
just pull the covers over our head, we didn't do it. We didn't do it, and I admire that about you. Like, it's just straight resilience. You were like, "No, gotta do it."
Yeah.
You know? I've got
Yeah,
family.
I mean, the world goes round, it doesn't stop just because 'cause
No.
I'm not,
No, and I mean, I haven't been there in a while, but I've been down to my last penny, and I had to work multiple jobs and do all of
Mhm.
that stuff. It's been a hot minute since I had to do that, but those were all while I was working on, my next steps, my
Yeah.
leveling up. That was before the next big corporate gig, and in between jobs, and it happens. It happens to people, and you can choose. You can choose to handle it one way, and you can choose to go bust some ass.
Yeah.
To climb out of it, and you freaking did it. And here you are, started your own business. And we've got 2 minutes before we go to commercial break, so maybe we can, when we come back for the break, I really want you to dive in and tell people, what is this job you start? I mean, what is this company that you started? And it's something that you're very experienced in doing. So, but in thinking about this and thinking about you and you leveling up, I also I have to talk about Randy Gale, who is a friend of mine, who is she's been through her own storms too, and she's up every morning now, and she does this thing that she gets on and she does these lives, and I've invited her. We're talking radio stuff together.
Yeah.
But she says, God, I'm up. Right. And she's every morning doing this stuff. Okay. But here's the greatest thing. She's got this whole brand called Pre-Rich. And so that's kind of how my conversations with her started up again. I've only met her in person one time, but there's always a reason. You don't know when or why you met someone until the time is right. And so I'm watching her do one of these lives, and I have to tell her, you got to mirror your camera. Like, turn your camera, because I'm like, I'm trying to read her hat, and it's backwards, and I'm like, Pre-Rich. I'm like, bitch, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So
I need to learn more about that.
Well, it's like gearing up, but she's also talking about the riches of heaven, and not, it's not just this financial rich, or
Right.
It's all of it. So, man, yeah, she is fiery. She is a blessing to, like, really, really listen to, and she is just on fire for God. I mean, just totally.
Awesome.
So she's coming into her purpose.
Yeah.
And so, maybe that's some of it too. When you look back at 2024 and being so resilient, what's coming. What have you been prepared for?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to talk more about what's coming in 2025.
Hey, travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820. Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
All right, welcome back to the second half of NTX AM Vibes here on NTX Radio. I'm Tiffany Carlin with Brianna Reeves Parkhill. I always like to say your maiden name because you've
Yes.
the Reeves family has been a part
Yes.
of Johnson County for
I own it.
yeah, like how many years? Yeah,
Oh,
a lot.
yeah. I don't know.
Well, NTX Radio is a radio and podcast collective proudly serving all of North Texas and can be heard all over the world on TuneIn Radio and on the NTX Radio app on Android, Apple CarPlay, or just ask Alexa to play NTX Radio. And Alexa will play it for you. Check out our lineup and more at ntxradio.com. We thank our value partners in helping us amplify the voices of North Texas. Be sure to connect with Todd Hurd & Associates, attorneys at law for your civil law needs at texasattorneylaw.com. And if you're processing credit cards, join the Swipe Nation today and save on processing fees at swipenationusa.com, locally owned and operated. It's the best way, by the way. If you're a small business and you feel like you have to pass your fees on to your clients, then you're paying too much in fees. Yeah. So get it lowered so you don't have to do that to your clients. So, because by the way, you get to write off those fees at the end of the year. So you're kind of double dipping. So anyway, that's like a pet peeve of mine. The holidays are just are over.
Yes.
It's time to change the commercial.
Yes, it is.
But it doesn't matter. Valentine's Day is just around the corner.
Yeah.
So if you want to lace up your lady or get a scarf on her that she can wear 40 different ways, you can hop on over to thetiffy.com. That's THETIFFIE.com for Tiffy sleeves and scarves. And when you're ready to deliver the right message to the right people at the right time. And by the way, this is a great gift for the new year to any small business owner.
Yeah.
Right? Reach out to me at t.hurd@ntxradio.com for advertising rates. I mean, we work with every budget. So if you're a small business owner and you need to spend $50 a month to get your word, get the, to get your
The
brand
buzz
out there
there.
and amplify, or you got a special or an event coming up, just give me a buzz and we'll make something work for you. So, so before we went to the break, we made a brief mention about City Market closing. And it's unfortunate. It is really, really unfortunate. So,
like my heart's breaking thinking about it. Like
I like there's like a multi-level thing to me. Okay. There's the employees who are absolutely wonderful. The owners, I just adore. Jill and Kurt. Jill is like I would come in and shop at like, 8 o'clock, getting close towards, closing or whatever. Jill and I will talk for an hour. Todd calls me and he'll go, I thought you were going to the grocery store. I'm like, I'm still at the grocery store. Jill and I are talking. Do you mind? But it would turn into this, sometimes 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. And literally we've talked for like an hour by the time I've looked at my watch. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go.
And every time I go in there, I see Jill or Kurt. And I didn't even realize they were the owners for the longest time.
Oh, really?
I just thought they worked there. I mean.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And Jill's, I mean, they've done a great job of really upgrading the inside of, this local little grocery store and, dressing it up to really compete with the big boys. And they've done a great job. And so it's, Weaver, he's been there forever.
I mean, back in high school, that's where two of my guy friends worked. It was Branson.
All the kids in there are they go to high school here in Burleson, the ones that started, and then they've worked their way up and on to bigger things. But what a great place to start with a family owned small little business. And the other part of it is convenience.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was my homegrown little store, and I could just ask them, hey, you're not carrying such and such. Do you think you can get that for me? But I'm a optimist. So I always want to think optimistically that people will come back to the table,
right,
and come up with and make a reasonable deal to keep this business alive. And, it's not the city's responsibility. It's not anybody's particular responsibility to save this business. It's not that the business is failing. It's literally not coming to a lease agreement, come to term, come to an agreement.
Yeah.
So,
and I know there's so much going on Facebook saying this or that or whatever. And I know a lot of people don't really know the details, and I think they're speaking on it, and it's causing a snowball effect of negativity on both sides.
I've gone to the source. I've asked. I've spoken with the owners of the grocery store about what were some of the terms that there was an issue on. I have not spoken to the other side, so I don't want to talk about any specifics or facts because I don't have it from both.
Well, and it's not ours. It's not our situation.
It's not. It's theirs, but this does truly affect the entire community.
It does.
People are pissed.
And rightfully so to some degree, but at the same time, it's...
Don't know the whole story.
No.
Not gonna lie. Nobody knows. I was a little pissed off and said something, maybe that would be construed as negative, but anybody who is friends with one side or the other is gonna take it as an attack.
Well, I don't know. I don't necessarily look at it as a one side or the other. It's heartbreaking for this to close, no matter what the situation. And so people are hurt, and when hurt people are hurt, they, react.
Yeah.
And so but that's my stance on politics too. I think if people would sit around a round table and discuss things open-mindedly, you'd realize that you're all more in alignment than everybody else thinks you are.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, the majority of us are here.
Yeah.
And then you have some psychos on the left and you got some psychos on the right.
Yeah.
And it's a very small group of people which tend to be the loudest.
Yep.
And so you just have to learn to not let that drown out the ultimate the ultimate goal. Speaking of a little bit of politics, I mean, and I hate to say it, segue this way because this is not a political issue, but it's already being thrown around as one. Prayers for California. The winds have kicked back up, and so the fires are, they still rage on, and although they're contained in some spots, they're popping back up. And I have 2 nieces in LA now, and because one just my other niece literally just moved there last week, and I have friends that I went to high school with that now live in California, and they've already been through the burn side. Now they're on the other side, but they're helping, and they're really, really helping people.
Well, Tamara said something. Your sister said something that it resonated with me. It made sense. Fires to California is like tornadoes to Texas.
Yeah.
Like that's their natural disaster that happens.
Right.
Ours is tornado. So, and because to me, it was a disconnect. I was like, why are there so many fires? Like, I don't understand.
Well, the Santa Ana's get so bad, but this particular storm, and this is what I hated about, or completely hate about the bullshit that people are posting on social media about, well, they're Californians, they should know, and fires happen, and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Not to this catastrophic level. They had hurricane force winds at 190 to 100 miles per hour, and you cannot, as a firefighter, you can't contain that. That is, it's impossible. And I was listening to the Orange County fire chief this morning on the news, and I mean, and it's heartbreaking to hear him, because this isn't just about the people who live there. This is about our firefighters and the fatigue and the mental and emotional stuff that they go through.
Yeah, because they're seeing loss every day.
Oh
all day.
yeah, and it's not just people; it's the animals, and and that's heartbreaking.
The destruction, even if it's materialistic, just the destruction of the buildings is.
It looks like a war zone.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a war zone. That's what it looks like, and they still haven't found this, the down to the source. And there's a new one that had sparked up, I think, overnight or yesterday or first thing this morning. And they don't know the source of it yet, but they're quite sure that these fires did start man-made, whether they were by accident or not, maybe fireworks. There's still speculation as to exactly what caused it. But it's just, and again, that's one of those things too. If you live in California, you should know. I mean, there should just be a ban. There is no outdoor candles. There's no outdoor this. There's no outdoor that. And if you're camping, I mean, you're going to have to find another way to stay warm.
Yeah.
If you choose to go out in the woods. So, I mean, I'd like to see them uncover who started it, because it's devastating to see that many people displaced.
Right.
It'd be really helpful if someone like a near trillionaire would just take $100 billion and then he'd still have 300 billion. Billion. I mean, can you wrap your head around how much money that is? $100 billion. If you took 100 billion and gave it to the people of California so that they could rebuild, imagine what that would do.
Yeah.
For our country. I mean, I'm not saying that that's his responsibility. I'm just saying you can't spend that money in your lifetime,
right,
or your children's lifetime, or your children's children's lifetime. Right. I mean, you have $400 billion. $400 billion. That is compounding and making money every single day. Like you can't go broke at that. I mean, what would you buy for $400 billion? Oh wait, maybe the United States. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah. So Jeff Bezos' wife, she gave away $50 billion, I believe, just recently. And then there was this somewhat war between her, and Elon Musk was mad at her for giving all this money away. You shouldn't be giving it away.
How am I going to spend it all?
I can't spend all this. Let me help people. Yeah. So I would assume she'll probably step up to the plate, but you know. And now there's talks that China is talking to Elon Musk about buying TikTok.
Really?
That was in the news this morning. So
that's why my kid said TikTok's going away.
Well, I don't think that's the case. I mean, if he buys it, I mean, whatever. I don't think it's a good thing no matter what. I mean, I'm not doing anything on X since he bought it because I'm not paying to participate. So
Oh, is it not free anymore?
you can be on it, but for me, my business accounts, I mean,
gotcha.
I was, running ads, or, our show used to also be live on Twitter. Well, I can't do that unless I pay for it anymore. So
I never really got into Twitter. I got on and tried to follow some celebrities just to see gossip, but I
it's a
didn't do anything
different
with it.
I mean, it's just it's very political, and it was very business oriented. Before, I mean, it was very business oriented, so you could really, post about your business and talk about your
Gotcha.
business and meet people. Like I had a lot of music, fan following on Twitter. It's just a different.
Yeah.
Each platform has, a different need and purpose. So that was
Yeah.
So TikTok, I mean, we'll see what happens. It's still kind of up in the air.
It makes a lot of money for people.
It does make a lot of money for people, but the problem is the data mining that China's doing with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's great and all, but how much of your information do you want China to have about you? So, I mean, it is a security issue. I mean, so we'll see. We'll see what happens and what unfolds with that. So, but really, just continue prayers for California.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people. I feel like some of the people who post the negative stuff about California and all this, bullshit, they look at California and the LA area as being all celebrities, like that's all that's in LA is celebrities. And that's not the case. I mean, it really isn't. But even so, they're people too. And
any life lost is
life lost. I mean, could you imagine? Todd and I were talking about it, watching the them fight the fires. And I mean, God bless these helicopter pilots and the plane pilots for the water drops, because it's absolutely amazing to watch. If you haven't watched any of the footage of them, the helicopters, dipping down into the ocean, filling their bucket and coming back, and your big planes, and then your I don't know what these particular helicopters are called, but they're double. They have to land and hose up and fill up, and it's really amazing to watch. I mean, it's a feat. One of the there was a Canadian, because we've had Canadians come in, Mexico's come in to help help California fight, all of this. And so there was a Canadian plane that hit a drone.
Oh.
So, but they're a water landing plane, so they made a safe landing. And so just, I mean, it's insane to watch, but I mean, God bless all of them, all of our first responders. But it's been pretty amazing to watch that footage of them just, bam, hit like right on the mark and just do what they do. I mean, we just have some very talented, caring people in this world. And those are the ones we have to, I think, focus on right now. And not listen or respond to the stupid rhetoric of people on social media. Just, well, they deserve it. They're Democrats, or they're liberal. They're liberals. Let them burn in hell. I mean, like, what's wrong with you?
Tell a story, but I'm gonna refrain. But
oh man,
it doesn't show good light on some people, and so I'd rather not.
Okay,
but it's along those lines when Katrina hit New Orleans.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I've heard that too. I mean, I have someone in my own family who's like saying the stuff about California, and it was like, and then another one was like, well, Newsom didn't do that. They didn't sign that water bill. And, I'm just listening to Newsom, on the news the other day. He goes, we have plenty of water. That's not the problem. You can't fight 100-mile-an-hour winds. I mean, could you imagine having a tornado coming at you and then also a big ball of fire in it? I mean, so, and the wind's just carrying these sparks everywhere. I mean, so, Todd and I were talking about that. We're like, I could not imagine coming home and my entire life on fire.
Right.
I mean, the idea of a tornado in the first place, that too, just absolutely terrifies me. And so he and I, we talked about it. We're like, okay, so what would we want to get? Like, if we were in some sort of fire scenario like this, he's like, we're loading up. anything and everything. He goes, I'm taking that couch and that couch. Those 2 couches. He goes, those couches are coming with me. I'm like, okay, babe. Like that's
okay. Who's gonna put it on top of the truck?
Yeah. But yeah, family photos and the stuff that's in the safe, and I mean that to me, computers. Because I could not live without my computer. Like, I know what's going into my car first, and it's all coming out of one particular room. And the photos to me and family heirlooms that's the most important stuff.
Yeah.
So, and my shoes. I'd be in there with a garbage bag. So
make sure you get both pair.
I gotta get both. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you like really think about that kind of stuff. I mean, even in my house right now, like if like tornado wise, and we're getting ready to build something, a safe, like a safe room. I don't have a center. If you really think about how my house is laid out, I don't have a center space.
Gotcha.
Even in like just that original front, where the kitchen and the bedrooms and all that is. I mean, there's no center spot, and I no longer have a bathtub except for in the back of the house.
Yeah.
And all my bathrooms are on an outside
Todd's
wall.
office is even an outside wall?
That's an outside wall. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, Maverick's closet is about the only thing that has multi-layers between the chimney and another closet on the backside of his closet. Like that's in that closet area around where the kids' bedrooms are.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So, and I thought about it just, I mean, even when the kids were little, few times that we went into that closet, and this is before we did remodeling, all my tubs, the 2 tubs that were in the house were both on outside walls. So it was like, this isn't safe. I don't feel safe getting into the tub because, this one's right below a glass wall. And the other one, I mean, we couldn't fit in it.
Yeah.
I was like, you kids get in, let me put the stuff on top of you. And I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And then you just hope for the best for everybody, but don't come near my house. That was it. Right. I mean, do you think about that stuff? Like, where would you go? Do you have a plan?
In our old house, we had a closet that was not on an outside wall, but now that you're talking about it, I don't think we have one.
You're gonna have to think about that. Like, seriously, go home and think about it. So
now the bathtub is not on an outside wall in the hall bath.
Well, that's your place.
But it has an outside wall in the bathroom, but
it's on the inside.
Actually,
yeah. No, ours they were on outside walls. So the only tub I have is the clawfoot tub in the guest bedroom in the back. That's literally
us and the dogs, and we're not all screwed in.
We're screwed in that one anyway. That one's not attached. Literally, that's freestanding.
So that's not any good either.
So that does nothing.
No,
it's sitting in the shower. There's no nothing.
Yeah,
So I just know that I don't want to live in a neighborhood that ends up looking like a war zone. So but like when you think about some of the stupid stuff that people say, well, Californians know that there's fires. I mean,
well,
so everybody in Oklahoma and Arkansas should just move.
Yeah,
because that's Tornado Alley. Yeah. I mean, that's it. Or everybody in Florida should leave permanently because hurricanes. Yeah. I mean, you get 10 foot of snow in parts of the Dakotas and Minnesota, and I mean, everybody has things that happen.
Yeah.
We have to choose whether you show compassion and empathy for people who are going through, because I certainly know that I would expect or hope for the same if I went through something like that. So anyway, all right. If you're watching us for the first time, we do a thing here called How One Word a Week Will Transform Your Life. It's a book called Focus by Clear Cherry Reeves, and not related to Brianna. And I'm not sure if we actually did this word the last time or not, because it's been a hot minute since we've been live. Alert. I feel like we did it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll move forward.
I feel like it made sense with what we were talking about too.
Oh, well, this is kind of cool because the word of the week is choose.
Choose.
So that was a Good segue there. Did you see
Yeah.
that? He must increase, I must decrease. John 3:30. And if you don't know what John 3:30 is, find a Bible, Google it. You can, it'll pull it up for you there. So, but the focus tip of the week for the word choose is this week, focus on choosing his ways over yours. When a decision needs to be made, remind yourself that you have a choice and then choose him every time. No matter how appealing the other road may appear, his way is always going to win. That's good. Yeah. So choose, if you're a believer, choose in him and through him, before you make that next post on social media. That's just going to grind somebody down or, attack people that you don't necessarily politically align with, and ask yourself, does this have anything to do with politics?
Does this just have anything to do with me?
Right. Right.
Am I just stirring the pot just to stir the pot?
That guy's wearing a skirt.
Okay.
He's learning what a draft feels like in this cold weather. And
he couldn't afford a kilt. I'll tell you.
It's a great point. I mean, Scottish men be like, we're not all cross-dressers.
Renaissance fair in Waxahachie. Those kilts are all over the place. And I love it because so many of them, they will tell you they're
free balling.
Yep. And it's just entertaining to see some of those very large men.
And that's
kilts.
how they wear a kilt.
Yeah.
There is no undergarment. So think about all that junk just hanging out all over Scotland. Like, damn. And so we are going to England. Soon, here in the next couple of months, I believe.
Oh wow.
And over to Ireland. So we'll do a jaunt over to Ireland, and so we'll get to.
How fun.
And I'm just gonna have to ask, are you or are you not?
They're all gonna say
I foresee a few pints and inappropriate questions, probably.
Yeah. But that it doesn't bother them. We're prudes over there.
I know.
I'm excited.
I'm excited because that's my heritage. It's Scottish and Irish and of course England. So I've traced. Have you done your DNA?
I haven't done my DNA, but Mama has done all of our genealogy stuff, and she'd be mad at me for not remembering. But
like you got to. Okay, so Mom's done the genealogy. She's got a good book. You got to do your DNA. She needs to too. And because taking that DNA and matching it to your genealogy book is really amazing. Plus, that's just genealogy, I would assume, on Mom's side.
No.
She did both sides?
Yeah.
Gosh, she's awesome.
Yeah.
But you need to put the DNA with it. It's really, really interesting to go, something's wrong here. Because when I was swapping around the front living room and I was moving that bookcase and tried to kill myself with it, I was like, oh, I totally forgot this was here. And it was my mom's genealogy book. And so it's huge. And I started reading through that and I was like, shit, there's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah.
That's going to, I really, really, really have to take the time, but I want to be able to take that kind of stuff with me and go, okay, where were they in Scotland?
Yeah.
So, and that's why I did my DNA. I want to be able to do that. Like I want to go over there and be able to say, my ancestors were in this village.
Yeah.
Woot. Yep. All right. Well, have an amazing day, guys. God bless. Be kind. And we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
Awesome.
Bye.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JOCO Community Radio.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures